Chapter 71 The Strange and Vicious Sue's Mother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next to Su Lin stood an elegantly dressed woman, but her face had a cunning, mean look. I saw these three walking toward Jiangli, and Su Lin, in the middle, couldn't wait to rush forward. Ha ha ha, Jiangli, bet you didn't see this coming. I'm out, thanks to you. I suffered big time in detention. You're gonna pay. Su Lin gritted his teeth as he spoke, clearly consumed by hatred for Jiangli. Yeah. I heard you got out on medical parole. Why are you here, acting tough? You look healthy as a horse. You're obviously faking it. Why come to me now? Afraid I'll call the cops. Jiangli listened to Su Lin's rant and spoke directly. Ha ha ha. Of course, I'm afraid. But look around, what are you gonna do about it? Su Lin made a show of trying to make a call. Jiangli pulled out his phone, but there was no signal. It had been there just moments ago, but as soon as Su Lin and the others arrived, it disappeared. It seemed the guy in black had come prepared. The big box he was holding must be a signal jammer. Now, hand over my precious dragon, or else. Maybe I'll take pity on you and make it quick. Su Lin, acting like he already had the baby dragon, said coldly. He figured he had this in the bag, that Jiang Li's life was in his hands, so, with an air of superiority, Su Lin demanded Jiang Li hand over the baby dragon so he wouldn't suffer so much. Hearing Su Lin's words, Jiang Li released the baby dragon, seeing the treasure he'd been longing for appear before him. Su Lin nodded with satisfaction, but as he reached out to grab it, the baby dragon hugged Jiang Li's legs, clearly affectionate. Su Lin saw this and roared. Damn it, you made a contract with my precious dragon. How is that possible? Why did you sign the contract so fast? You deserve to die. You really deserve to die. Seeing his treasure bonded with Jiang Li sent Su Lin into a hysterical fit. He thought the baby dragon was going to be his third contracted elf. His hopes were immediately crushed because unless the trainer terminated the contract themselves, or if the trainer died, the elves that have been contracted cannot make contracts with other trainers. Even if the trainer actively broke the contract, the elf's next contract would never be as strong, so, generally, trainers wouldn't choose elves who'd been contracted before unless they absolutely had to. Su Lin, already furious, decided to torture Jiang Li to death. Honey, don't get upset. Why get mad at trash like that? You'll make yourself sick over her. It's just a baby dragon. We'll get it back later. Then we'll find a ditto and make them lay eggs. Maybe we'll get another baby dragon. Su Lin's mother said viciously. Jiang Li was angry at Su's mother's words. After all, Su's mother's idea was evil, because even though the ditto could lay eggs with any elf besides mythical beasts and fantasy beasts, and it is almost 100% possible to give birth to elf eggs of the same species as the other half of the elf, but not without a cost, because the elves basically die soon after the ditto lays eggs, and they are all hopeless. That's because the ditto can only lay elf eggs after absorbing the origin of elves. Otherwise, it would be so easy to obtain high-quality elves. If ditto could lay unlimited elven eggs, then the alliance wouldn't need to build a breeding house or a large elven breeding base to meet the contract needs of so many initial elves in the entire alliance every year. You would just copy the ditto like crazy, but unfortunately, such pie will not fall from the sky. The alliance had passed laws about the ever-changing ditto a long time ago. Using ditto to get high-quality elves is strictly forbidden, and the punishment is severe. No exceptions. Now ditto are used for elf research and battles, and the rules are extra strict. But criminals like Su's mother still try to use ditto for their own twisted schemes. The truth is, ditto isn't really laying eggs with other elves. It's absorbing their life force to create a new elf. Elf researchers abroad have studied this and found that the genetic match between the ditto egg and the other elf is almost perfect, nearly 100%, and the talents of the elf are almost the same. The alliance's law is there to protect elves, to stop people from preying on the old, weak, or injured, taking their talents and turning them into slaves. Enough talk. Uncle, take care of her. Su's mother was impatient and wanted Su Lin's third uncle to send his elves to kill Jiang Li. A dark, cursed doll floated out from third uncle Su Lin's body. It had a creepy smile, like it was trying to steal your soul. Jiangli used his appraisal skill on the cursed doll. Species, cursed doll, gender, male, strength, level 43, peak of entry-level professional level, type, ghost, ability, cursed body, hidden ability, potential, gym leader level, moves, shadow sneak, grudge, shadow claw, curse, shadow ball, payback, mimic, trick. The cursed doll Su Lin's third uncle sent out was at the pro level, and he sent out another pro-level elf, Bulbasaur, who was also an entry-level professional, plus a Swampert at peak elite strength. Su Lin's third uncle had sent out all his contracted elves. He was going all in, giving Jiangli no chance to escape. This place wasn't far from the city. A drawn-out fight could attract the patrol cops. Chapter 72. The Boliang Xu family will fly away when disaster strikes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Lin sent in 2 elite-level Pokémon to bolster the formation. His mother, not to be outdone, unleashed all her contracted Pokémon, including 3 at peak elite level. Jiangli, seeing their determined faces, knew they'd come prepared, but honestly, their Pokémon strength wasn't anything he hadn't anticipated. He could definitely handle things as long as they didn't throw a gym-level Pokémon at him. Cursed Doll, Shadow Claw. Bulbasaur, Swamp King, get in there. Electabuzz, Gyarados. Before Uncle Su Lin could even finish his command, Su Linya and Mom Su were already unleashing their Pokémon, eager to wrap things up quickly and avoid any nasty surprises. The instant it heard its trainer, the cursed doll vanished into the shadows, transforming into a dark blur. In a heartbeat, it was right behind Jiangli, its pitch-black claws extended, ready to strike his back. That cursed doll looked mean. And a hit like that could leave Jiangli seriously messed up, if not worse, but just. Then, Jiangli's Pokeball flashed, and a massive figure erupted in a blaze of red light. A huge Arcanine burst from the ball, interposing itself between Jiangli and the attacker. Facing the sudden threat, the gym-level Arcanine unleashed a Dark-type move, ready to crush it. The Arcanine's jaws clamped down on the cursed doll's head. The cursed doll's body split in two, the thick, dark energy ripping through its form. Usually, a cursed doll could just pull itself back together, since ghost types can often reform from a smoky cloud, but this was different. Dark-type moves were twice as effective against ghost types. The gym-level Arcanine's bite tore at the very core of the cursed doll's being. Arcanine's overpowering dark energy instantly annihilated the cursed doll. Third uncle had been grinning as he watched the cursed doll ambush Jiangli. He'd pictured Jiangli screaming as it tore him apart, but the sudden appearance of the Arcanine stunned him, and when it ripped the cursed doll in half, he nearly passed out. Before he could even shout in anger, the cursed doll's death hit him hard. The severed connection sent a jolt through his mind. Clutching his head, third uncle collapsed, sweating, shaking, and howling on the ground. Su Lin and his mom stared in disbelief. They never expected anything like this. A professional-level cursed doll, taken out in one hit. How is this possible? No way. You're just some nobody. How do you have gym-level Pokémon protecting you? Mom Su snapped. Now she understood. Only a gym-level Pokémon could obliterate a powerful professional like that. It's not true. I don't believe it. Bulbasaur, Swamp King, attack. Su Lin denied it, but he knew the dead cursed doll belonged to his third uncle. No matter how much he refused to believe it, the cursed doll was gone, so he ordered his third uncle's Pokémon, not daring to risk his own. He was scared his Pokémon would end up like the doll. The sight of his third uncle writhing in pain was still fresh in his mind, so he sent Bulbasaur and Swamp King. Third uncle was still in too much pain to yell at him, but he wanted to. His nephew was using him as bait. If he had known this would happen, he would have grounded him, but it's too late now. Hearing Su Lin's order, Bulbasaur and Swamp King hesitated, but seeing their trainer hurting, they charged at Jiangli, teeth bared, ready for revenge. Arcanine swatted those two dimwits aside. Run! Seeing what happened, Mom Su, using third uncle's Pokémon as a distraction, grabbed Su Lin and bolted. They left third uncle to suffer. Some people would do anything to save their skins. Third uncle struggled to his feet, pointing at Su and Su Lin, cursing. You vicious woman! And you little punk! I only helped you because you begged me, and now you're abandoning me. You'll get what's coming to you. That they had left him to the wolves, breaking his heart. He hated Su and Su Lin even more than Jiangli now. Jiangli watched their behavior and sighed. The Su family was as cold-blooded as everyone said. Don't worry, third uncle. We'll get revenge. Mom Su called back as she fled, trying to reassure herself, anything to justify leaving third uncle behind. Su and Su Lin had covered some distance and could see light in the distance. People were playing in the light. With so many witnesses, Jiangli couldn't attack without attracting attention. That was Su Lin's plan, but as Su and Su Lin were about to call out and wave to the figures, Arcanine, which had been waiting in the shadows, pounced. It dragged them back into the darkness. No matter how much Su and Su Lin struggled and screamed, they couldn't reach the people in the light. The waves drowned out their cries. Chapter 73 Kill decisively and solve trouble. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The only reason Su Lin and the others got away for as long as they did was because Wind Speed Dog was toying with them. That gave them false hope, the idea they might actually escape, but then they crashed right back down to reality. This was Wind Speed Dog's payback. As a loyal canine Pokémon, he was devoted to his master, and Jiangli, his master's son, was someone he'd watched grow up. Protecting Jiangli was his top priority. How could Wind Speed Dog not be furious with so many people trying to hurt him? It didn't take long for Wind Speed Dog to drag Su Lin and his mother back. Their faces were masks of terror. They knew Jiangli wouldn't be merciful after what they'd done. They didn't want to die. They had so much money they hadn't even spent yet. Now, they were filled with regret for crossing Jiangli. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Su Lin's third uncle, still sprawled on the ground, laughed like a maniac when he saw Su Lin and his mother being hauled back. Running, were you? Guess who's back? He was loving this. The thought of watching them die made it all worthwhile. What Su Lin and his mother did had shattered his heart. Jiangli walked over to them, his face unreadable. Su's mother turned ghostly white. The look in Jiangli's eyes told her she was already a dead woman. Don't kill me. I'm family. Please, I promise I'll never do it again if you let me go. Tears streamed down her face, smearing her makeup into a grotesque mess. Yeah, please. Just this once. We'll leave you alone, we swear. Su Lin begged, bowing his head. Ha! I can't kill you. Jiangli said. If the shoe was on the other foot, would you show me any mercy? I'll freaking kill you. Realizing there was no way out, Su's mother went ballistic, spewing curses. Then she turned on Su Lin, blaming him for everything. If he hadn't gone looking for trouble, they wouldn't be in this mess, she yelled. Su Lin slapped her, hard. Then, he plastered on a slimy smile and turned to Jiangli. Listen, it was all her. She's the one who wanted to mess with you, that's why I'm here. I was doing fine in jail, but she got me out, said she wanted revenge. I didn't have a choice. I didn't want to cause you any trouble. Please, let me go. I don't want to die. When it came down to it, Su Lin threw his own mother under the bus without a second thought. Su's mother, stunned, couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her precious son, the one she'd always babied, was selling her out to their enemy, and blaming her for everything, with no remorse. He was the one who started this. She wasn't ready to die. She snapped and began to spill all the details of Su Lin's misdeeds to Jiangli. Jiangli watched the family drama unfold, a faint smile playing on his lips. This was something out of a soap opera. Without another word, Jiangli confiscated their Pokeballs. He secured them so that Su Lin and his Pokémon couldn't be released, preventing any last-ditch suicide attempts. Finally, with Su Lin and his mother staring in despair, he snapped their necks. Then there was the third uncle to deal with. Jiangli didn't forget about him. You had to cut off the weed at the root. Even if Su Lin and the others were dealt with here, the Su family would definitely know they'd gone after Jiangli. So their deaths here were bound to get back to the Su family, but they had no proof. They couldn't use the fact that Su Lin and the others went after Jiangli as evidence, so even if they died here, the Su family was stuck with it. At most, they'd caused Jiangli trouble in secret, but as far as Jiangli was concerned, any trouble they caused was just another experience point. After dealing with them, Jiangli had his Charizard incinerate the scene, erasing any trace of what happened. That way, Anyone who came looking would find nothing. The cursed doll had destroyed their Pokeballs, that left 8 Pokémon, but all their experience had been lost with the deaths of their trainers. They were all badly injured and no longer fit for battle. Zhongli followed the same rules for the remaining Pokémon, with the exception of the 2 he had scanned with his explorer eyes. The Pokémon that had killed were executed by Zhongli. Any Pokémon that deliberately took a human life had to die, that was his rule. As for the rest, he planned to take them to the forest and release them, allowing them to return to nature. Zhongli wasn't a killer. Destroying these helpless Pokémon might affect his own Pokémon's impression of him. After all, Pokémon didn't have a concept of right and wrong, they would only blindly follow their trainer's orders. But, given their condition, they probably wouldn't last long in the wild. Let them fight or die trying in the jungle. With that done, Zhongli took a cab back to his hotel. Back at the hospital where Su Lin had been staying, the police officer had woken up. He was groggy and disoriented. He suddenly realized that the prisoner he was guarding was gone, and his face went white. He frantically searched the room, then called the doctor to help him, but there was no sign of Su Lin. The police officer immediately called his superiors. When they learned what had happened, they launched an investigation. Chapter 74. Receive system rewards and gain a new world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a fruitless search, the Shanghai police concluded that Su Lin and his crew had gotten away. They tampered with the surveillance equipment before going after Zhongli, so there was no video footage of the incident. Because the whole thing was premeditated, the police chewed out the Su family and demanded they turn Su Lin in, but the Su family was in a bind. They'd been ready for anything after Su Lin went to confront Zhongli. He'd slipped back in unnoticed, but something had gone terribly wrong. They still had no idea what happened to Su Lin and his mother. They hadn't returned home since. The Su family was suffering in silence, swallowing bitter pills. In the end, they paid a steep price, pouring precious resources into smoothing things over. Of course, Zhongli was oblivious to all this. He was already lounging on his hotel bed, ready to claim his system rewards. Yuyo, I'm ready to collect the mission reward. Ding dong. Request received. Initiating query. System mission, Su Lin's revenge. Mission requirement, thwart Su Lin's plot and punish him. Task reward, access to the system travel module with a lottery draw for your destination world. Completion status, completed. Distributing rewards now. As soon as the system assistant finished speaking, a golden roulette wheel materialized in front of Zhongli. The wheel was marked with names of worlds: Hakoba World, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, One Piece, Dragon Ball World. This was the prize the system offered, and Zhongli got to spin for it. The world he landed on would become one of the destinations accessible through the system travel module. Yuyo, spin the wheel. The massive golden wheel began to spin, faster and faster, as Zhongli waited for his prize. Stop. When the needle was a blur, Zhongli yelled, stop. The wheel screeched to a halt, the pointer landing on One Piece. Ding dong. Congratulations. You've drawn the dimensional world, One Piece world. Zhongli felt a twinge of disappointment. One Piece wasn't as powerful as Hakua or Dragon Ball. With powers from those worlds, he could easily crush some chump, but there would be other chances. He could always spin again later. Still, the One Piece world had its perks, especially the devil fruits. They'd be perfect for powering up his elves. The attribute power of the devil fruits was a great match. With this new world unlocked, Zhongli decided to send his elves on dimensional adventures. This time, he planned to send his baby dragon. After intensive training, the baby dragon had grown much stronger and safely navigated its vulnerable early stage. He released it from its pokeball. Baby. The baby dragon bounded forward and hugged Zhongli's legs, greeting him affectionately. Zhongli smiled and patted its head, telling it not to be afraid of the world. He used probing eye on the baby dragon. Race, baby dragon. Gender, male. Strength, 11, beginner level, novice level. Attribute, dragon. Feature, force, hidden talent. Talent, king level. Skills, tackle, bite, ember, dragon breath, dragon god dive, reverse scale, dragon star cluster. It was ready for dimensional adventures. Yuyo, I'm ready for a dimensional adventure. Request received. Initiating query. Currently traversable worlds, Naruto world, One Piece world. Currently traversable elves, Charizard, Tyranitar, Baby Dragon. Please confirm. Confirm. In a flash of golden light, the baby dragon vanished. At the same time, Charizard and Tyranitar disappeared from their Pokeballs, reappearing in another world. The elf Charizard appears in the world of One Piece, on an unknown island. The elf Charizard discovers a group of pirates slaughtering civilians. The elf Charizard is enraged and intervenes, incinerating the pirates. The elf Charizard is thanked and worshipped by the island's residents. But when the islanders begged Charizard to stay, it refused. The fire type flew around the island, hunting down more pirates guilty of atrocities. Suddenly, a massive blob of lava plummeted from the sky, aimed directly at the flying Charizard. The lava was so hot that even the fire type realized it couldn't withstand a direct hit. It quickly veered away, dodging the attack. Meteor volcano, a cold voice echoed. Charizard turned to see a middle-aged man in a white coat and robe, the word justice emblazoned on the back, wearing a white peaked cap. He was the one who'd attacked Charizard. He kept punching the air, unleashing fist-shaped blobs of lava that rained down on the flying fire type. The attacks looked like meteor volcanoes. Seeing the barrage of lava fists, Charizard channeled its inner energy. The energy boosted its speed, allowing it to dart through the air. It dodged every meteor volcano attack. Then the fire type gathered all of its dragon energy. The energy formed a huge dragon armor around its body. It charged the middle-aged man in the coat of justice, unleashing Dragon God Dive. However, it held back from using the immortal technique, sensing that the man meant no real harm. Haha, bring it on. The middle-aged man rushed to meet the charging fire type. His arm transformed into lava, meeting the charging fire type head-on. Chapter 75 Lava Fruit. The Invincible Fire-Breathing Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I watched this guy, looked like he was pushing 50 and wearing a justice-themed getup, raise his arm. It practically turned into molten lava. He clocked the Charizard that was coming at him with Dragon God Dive, hard. Boom. The hit was deafening. The force of the impact sent shockwaves rippling through the air. For a second, they were evenly matched. Hahaha, not bad, kid. You're damn good. This so-called middle-aged justice guy, Akainu, pulled back immediately after trading blows with Charizard. He looked at Charizard, clearly impressed, and praised him openly. Turns out, this guy was Akainu, one of the Navy admirals. He'd heard there was this dragon-like creature kicking pirate but around these parts, so, Akainu came to check it out. Figuring Charizard was some guy who'd eaten a devil fruit that turned him into an animal. After watching Charizard take down pirates left and right, Akainu was seriously impressed. He decided to test Charizard's power firsthand. He liked what he saw, so he invited Charizard to join the Navy. Roar. Charizard was totally on board, and just like that, Charizard had a backstory in the One Piece world. After all that, Charizard zoomed back to Jiangli in a flash of golden light. Congratulations. Your Charizard now has the natural Logia Devil Fruit, the Magma Fruit. Jiangli was stoked to see the Magma Fruit, a Logia-type Devil Fruit. The Magma Fruit is a top-tier Logia. Only the Ice Fruit, Glint Fruit, Dark Fruit, and Rumble Fruit can really compare. Those 5 Logia are some of the most OP Devil Fruits in the One Piece universe, and 3 of those fruits belong to 3 of the Navy admirals. Getting this Magma Fruit felt like winning the lottery. Congratulations. Charizard gained a ton of experience and leveled up to level 30. Awesome. This dimensional adventure was a major win for Charizard. He not only leveled up to 30, putting him at the peak of the ordinary level, but he also snagged the Magma Fruit, one of the strongest Logia fruits. Jiangli summoned Charizard and used his appraisal skill. Species, Charizard. Gender, male. Level, 30, peak of ordinary. Type, fire/flying. Ability, solar power/drought. Potential, champion. Moves, fire style. Fireball Jutsu, fire style. Phoenix Flower Jutsu, fire style. Dragon Fire Jutsu, fire style. Fire Dragon Bullet, water style. Great. Waterfall Jutsu, 8 inner gates. Strong Fist, 8 inner gates. Heavenly Foot of Pain, Shadow Clone Jutsu, Rasengan, Sage Art, Ultra Big Ball Rasengan, Outrage, Dragon Rush. Zhongli nodded, satisfied with the impressive stats. Now, even if Charizard went up against a pseudo-legendary Pokémon of the same level, he'd wipe the floor with them. Zhongli glanced at the magma fruit in Charizard's hand. It looked a lot like a dragon fruit, but the segments were shaped like flames. Zhongli was ready for Charizard to chow down, but they were in the city. He figured eating the magma fruit would cause a major reaction, so he took Charizard to a little beach outside the city. Then, he told Charizard to go for it. Charizard opened his mouth wide and took a bite of the magma fruit that looked like a dragon fruit. The awful taste made Charizard gag and want to throw it up immediately. Zhongli stopped him and told him to just swallow it. The second Charizard ate the magma fruit, the fire elements around them went wild. Flames from the sky, the earth, and the air swirled around Charizard. It completely engulfed Charizard, forming a giant fireball. The light was so intense, it lit up the dark beach like daytime. The fire elements surrounded Charizard and formed a massive cocoon. Charizard was evolving in silence. Watching Charizard eat the magma fruit, Zhongli realized this might have been a mistake. Charizard was at a critical point, and he couldn't be disturbed. What if someone saw this and thought it was some kind of treasure? They might interrupt Charizard's transformation, but Zhongli's worries were unnecessary. The cocoon of flame started to break apart, turning into red sparkles that slowly faded away, and Charizard burst out. His power boosted big time. Charizard soared into the sky and roared. He wanted to express his feelings or show off his strength, and after Charizard ate the magma fruit, he immediately gained a lot of experience. When Charizard was about to break through to the elite level, Zhongli told him to stop and reinforce his foundations. After all, his strength had been increasing too rapidly recently, and the day after tomorrow was the finals of the Magic City Elf Cup competition. If Charizard became an elite, he wouldn't be able to participate in the competition. Looking at Charizard flying proudly in the air, Zhongli flew him to another location. Charizard, use the power of the magma fruit. Zhongli wanted Charizard to test the abilities of the magma fruit. When Charizard breathes fire, he can now turn the flames into magma, and the temperature of magma is higher than the temperature of Charizard's flames. The damage that the magma can inflict is also much stronger than normal flames. If ordinary trees were stained with a little bit of this magma, they would probably quickly be burned into charcoal. Charizard can also easily use the magma fruit to summon meteor volcanoes in the sky. Finally, Zhongli told Charizard to test the power of the magma fruit to turn into natural energy. Charizard gradually transformed his body into elements, and lava emerged from his body, covering the surrounding land. With this new power, Charizard had a body made of lava. Chapter 76, Bankilas' Adventure and Battle Against the Seven Martial Seas Under the King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Using the natural devil fruit, Charizard elementalized, turning directly into lava. After elementalizing, Charizard becomes immune to most physical attacks. Successfully eating the devil fruit also greatly improved Charizard's inherent resilience. With his body now in a near-lava state, after using the elemental transformation, rock-type attacks aren't very effective against him. And as a being with Earth-like properties, electric attacks would hardly affect him either. Therefore, after using the lava fruit's elementalization ability, Charizard can avoid most elemental attacks. You could say the current Charizard has almost no weaknesses. What's more, the improvement in Charizard's strength gave him the ability to obtain the lava fruit. Therefore, the feedback to Zhongli also significantly improved his physical fitness. Plus, the Charizard that ate the lava fruit successfully fed back to Zhongli, granting him strong fire immunity. He took out a lighter and clicked it. A small flame appeared. Zhongli tested it with his hand. It wasn't hot at all, so he extended his arm and let the lighter's flame burn him, but the flames didn't hurt him at all, only making him feel a little warm. Back in Bankilas' time, Zhongli returned to the hotel and checked on Bankilas' situation using the time travel function's battle viewing interface. The elf Bankilas has arrived in the world of One Piece. The elf Bankilas appears in an unknown desert in the world of One Piece. Bankilas looked around at the desolate desert, an environment it really enjoyed. After all, he's a desert elf, known as the Tyrant of the Desert. Moreover, this desert was full of rock power from another world. Bankilas decided to train here to improve his understanding of rocks. During his training, Bankilas was often bothered by desert sand pirates. He dealt with these petty thieves by burying them alive in the yellow sand, but Bankelas did learn from them that this was a kingdom called Alabasta. Zhongli knew that the kingdom of Alabasta was a major power in the first half of the Grand Line in the One Piece world. Though called a big country, it was really just a country on a big island. One day, while Bankelas was training, a middle-aged man in a black coat approached with an arrogant swagger. Zhongli thought the man in the coat looked strange, especially considering he was in the desert. Wouldn't he be hot dressed like that? This arrogant middle-aged man pointed at Bankelas and said, "Are you the one who buried my men?" Turns out, many of the desert sand pirates were his underlings. Their deaths had left him short-handed, with no one to do his dirty work, so he came to the desert to find out what was going on. "I don't really care about those guys, but since you killed my men, you can repay me with yourself. From today on, you're working for me. My name is Crocodile. Remember it. It's the name of your future master, the one you'll be serving." The middle-aged man called Crocodile pointed at Bankelas arrogantly. He obviously thought Bankelas had eaten an animal-type devil fruit, and he felt Bankelas's look was perfect as a subordinate, and his abilities would complement Crocodile's own very well. Zhongli, observing from afar in the original world, recognized the name immediately. It turns out this guy was Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Under the king of the One Piece world, he possessed the power of the natural devil fruit, the sand fruit. The sand fruit is one of the strongest devil fruits out there. In the natural category, its power is only second to a small number of others, and it's a very rare find. If this wasn't the world of One Piece, where the main environment is the sea, the sand fruit might not even rank as high. After all, the user's own strength is key. And this notorious pirate named Crocodile was using the power of the natural devil fruit to wreak havoc. He had gained a fearsome reputation throughout the One Piece world and was known as the Desert King. Now, this ruthless man was inviting Bankelas to join him. Of course, Bankelas refused outright. Working for a guy like that meant constant violence and chaos. Taught by Zhongli, Bankelas wouldn't go around killing people. He still stuck to the rules and didn't have the warped personality of some pirates in the One Piece world. Burning, killing, and looting were just commonplace for those guys. Under Zhongli's guidance, Bankelas lived by the principle, if others don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. But if they do, all bets are off. Faced with Bankelas's firm rejection, Crocodile was clearly angry. As his anger rose, the wind picked up, and the yellow sand began to swirl around him. Soon, sandstorms started to form one after another, and Crocodile prepared to bury Bankelas alive in the sand. Crocodile wasn't known for his patience. He was a pirate with a dream to be king. His character was ruthless. He had only come looking for Bankelas because his men had died. Bankelas daring to refuse him was a slap in the face. It seemed he hadn't shown his power in a while, and some were forgetting his title as Crocodile. This time, he was using the sand fruit to eliminate Bankelas in one fell swoop. He also wanted to remind any onlookers that not everyone can mess with Crocodile. Countless sandstorms, like winds of death, engulfed Bankelas in an instant. A massive desert mass formed, completely surrounding the spot where Bankelas had stood. Crocodile was satisfied. He was certain Bankelas had been killed. Not everyone had a natural devil fruit, with the ability to elementalize, and he figured Bankelas had only eaten an animal-type fruit, but every living thing needs air. Bankelas was trapped under the sandstorm Crocodile had created. He was buried underground long ago. While Crocodile was busy reinforcing his fearsome reputation, Bankelas brushed the sand away from his eyes and calmly walked out of the massive desert mass. Moreover, he was completely unharmed, which instantly made Crocodile look like a complete fool. Chapter 77 Earth Escape and Shasha Fruit Ability Showdown. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bankelas emerged from the sandstorm unscathed, sending a jolt of fury through Shah Crocodile, who had been eager to cement his fearsome reputation. This unexpected turn of events enraged Shah Crocodile. Feeling humiliated, he resolved to eliminate Bankelas physically. Desert Sword. He roared. Instantly, half of Shah Crocodile's arm transformed, becoming a massive sword made of sand. He swung the colossal blade, unleashing a wave of cutting force that created a sonic boom. The impact sent ripples through the surrounding desert. Bankelas, too, recognized the gravity of the situation. He knew a direct confrontation would be disastrous. Shah Crocodile's attack possessed immense cutting power. Even with his impressive defenses, Bankelas might not survive a head-on collision. Bankelas immediately channeled the surrounding rock energy. In the desert, this energy was practically limitless. Empowered by the Earth's might, Bankelas' strength surged. He began injecting energy into the ground, causing the desert to tremble. Yellow sand erupted in a torrent, combining the raw power of the earth with a shield of sand that rapidly expanded. In a heartbeat, a towering city wall forged from rock stood before Bankelas. Its sheer size forced both Bankelas and Shah Crocodile to crane their necks upward. This was no ordinary earth wall, it was on a completely different scale. While a typical earth wall was merely a small mound, this earth city wall, fueled by the desert's endless energy, resembled an ancient fortress. It enclosed Bankelas completely, providing formidable protection. Had they been elsewhere, Bankelas wouldn't have been able to summon such a defense or would have quickly exhausted his energy. This colossal wall could easily withstand an onslaught of beasts. Shah Crocodile's desert sword slammed into the city wall, creating an earth-shattering explosion. The sword punched a gaping hole in the wall, but the constant influx of earth energy immediately repaired the damage. As long as the desert's power flowed, the city wall was virtually unbreakable. Shah Crocodile scoffed at the sight of the massive barrier. Hiding behind a wall wouldn't save Bankelas. He didn't need to smash it to get to his opponent. Desert Sunflower, summoning every last ounce of his energy, Shah Crocodile unleashed the terrifying power of the yellow sand, calling forth a desert sunflower that could create quicksand. The ground in front of the city wall opened up, and Bankelas' sanctuary began to sink. This was the weakness of the earth wall. It was simply a massive barrier, but the ground beneath it wasn't fortified. An enemy could attack from below. Reaching the heart of the fortress, Shah Crocodile had turned the tables. His desert sunflower swallowed the entire city wall, pulling it down into the quicksand, where it disappeared forever. Shah Crocodile rejoiced, believing he had finally defeated his adversary. After all, no one could escape the quicksand, or so he thought. But Shah Crocodile didn't realize that Bankelas was a rock-type elf, the self-proclaimed tyrant of the desert. Quicksand held no fear. For him, using the dig attack, Bankelas tunneled beneath the surface and emerged directly under Shah Crocodile. He burst from the ground, catching the arrogant crocodile completely off guard. Confident in his victory, Shah Crocodile had let his guard down. Bankelas launched a surprise attack, sinking his teeth into Shah Crocodile. Despite his arrogance, Shah Crocodile reacted quickly. He transformed into sand, becoming one with the surrounding desert, but Bankelas' bite had already landed. The raw, destructive energy coursed through Shah Crocodile's elemental form, wreaking havoc. Staggered by the attack, Shah Crocodile used his elemental abilities to flee. As he escaped, he began to revert to his human form. His face was pale, and blood streamed from his mouth. One of his arms was gone. The elemental power of the sand fruit wasn't absolute. Elemental transformation could only block ordinary physical attacks. Moreover, the armament hockey could bypass it entirely. Elemental transformation also had weaknesses. It was vulnerable to energy attacks from other elements. Earth-based or rock-based attacks might have been blocked, but the dark energy of Bankelas' attack had overwhelmed Shah Crocodile. He was severely injured and had lost an arm. If his elemental transformation hadn't allowed him to escape so quickly, Bankelas would have finished him off. Unless Shah Crocodile received immediate medical attention, he wouldn't survive. Having lost an arm and been humiliated in front of everyone, Shah Crocodile's reputation was in ruins. Chapter 78: Obtain the Shasha Fruit and become the overlord of Bankelas. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Before Crocodile became the king of the 7 warlords, a great pirate's acts of arson, murder, and plunder haunted him. Becoming disabled significantly impacted his strength, even with the sand fruit, making him vulnerable to attacks. After defeating Crocodile, the system began calculating rewards. Congratulations! Elf Tyranitar has obtained the sand fruit, a natural devil fruit. Zhongli was pleased to see the devil fruit as a reward. While this natural type sand fruit wasn't the best of its kind, it was still a strong contender. The sand fruit's limitations in the One Piece world wouldn't affect Tyranitar as much. It could potentially grant Tyranitar bonuses comparable to Charizard's lava fruit. Since Tyranitar was already a rock-type elf, consuming the sand fruit, which shared its attribute, would amplify its power exponentially. Zhongli, through the system interface, instructed Tyranitar to eat the sand fruit immediately, mindful of the commotion Charizard had caused with the lava fruit. If he hadn't escaped quickly, it would have been difficult to explain the incident, especially if they had demanded rare materials. Tyranitar, receiving Jiangli's message, promptly swallowed the sand fruit whole. The taste caused an immediate and visible reaction. Jiangli chuckled. Tyranitar looked like it had just eaten something disgusting. A single bite was all that was needed. Unlike Tyranitar's gluttonous consumption, as Tyranitar swallowed the fruit, a cloud of sand erupted, the entire desert was enveloped, an overwhelming sight. An immense rock-type power surged into Tyranitar's body, encasing it in a massive cocoon. Jiangli felt Tyranitar's powerful heartbeat. Even in the real world, the transformation had begun. As Tyranitar transformed, the desert became turbulent. Oases were swallowed by the sand, the desert threatened to expand, consuming the surrounding lands, but the transformation ended before the entire kingdom could be buried. Tyranitar emerged, changed by the power of nature. It was far larger than before. The previous Tyranitar would look like a child next to this giant. Was this the start of an overlord-level elf? Jiangli thought, excited. Using his investigative eyes, Jiangli examined Tyranitar. Race, Tyranitar, shiny elf, overlord, gender, female, strength, level 28, high, attribute, rock/dark, ability, sandstream, potential, king, moves, earth release, earth wall, earth release, earth grudge technique, earth release, super weight rock technique, earth release, earth flow river, Kekiai Genkai, explosion release, sand fruit ability, tackle, leer, payback, bite, scary face, rock. Throw, stomp, hyper beam. Seeing Overlord on the familiar system interface confirmed that Tyranitar's journey had begun. Its significantly larger size was evidence of this. However, Tyranitar's path was just beginning. Unlike the Overlord Parasect Jiangli had encountered before, which already led a tribe, Tyranitar still had a long way to go. To become a true Overlord elf, she needed to master the Overlord aura. Becoming the leader of its kind was an enormous challenge. As a pseudo legendary Pokémon, Tyranitar ruled the desert. Only those with absolute power could earn the tribe's respect. Thanks to the sand fruit, Tyranitar's potential had increased. Before, it was at the quasi-king level. Now, it had finally reached the king level. With consistent training and auxiliary items, Tyranitar's potential could even reach the champion level. It was already near the limit of the king level, just one step away. However, that one step was a hurdle that many elves could never overcome. Champion level potential was extremely rare. Even the offspring of a league champion and their champion level elf might not inherit that level of talent. King level elves were the limit for most. Even powerful pseudo-legendary Pokémon often plateaued at that level. Only a few reached the peak of the king level and began to push beyond their limits. With a trainer's guidance and constant battle experience, there was a slight chance of reaching the champion level. Chapter 79 Baby Dragon's Dimensional Adventure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You know, champion level is another way of saying god level, specifically third level god. Back in the day, elves who reached the extreme of the king level were considered gods when they pushed past their limits. Champion level means god level power. Keep in mind that usually, only legendary creatures reach this level. Systematic and scientific elf training is a relatively recent development. Each generation of elves gets stronger, thanks to unlocking more potential and building on the knowledge of those who came before. As the human population exploded, the number of trainers increased too. This led to more elves breaking through to the champion level than ever before. So, elf research experts and high-level leaders worldwide got together and agreed, third-level god strength would be defined as champion level, and trainers with elves at that level would be called champion-level trainers. Basically, a god-level trainer is now a championship-level trainer. Jiangli knew from the start how tough it would be to get his Charmander to the champion level. Elves with champion-level potential don't just stay as regular king-level elves. Even with everything they've got, they often can't break through that champion-level barrier. Charizard, with its champion-level talent, has a clear path to breaking through, and Jiangli's first contracted elf has that same talent. Talk about the ultimate leg up. Plus, his Tyranitar snagged a top-tier devil fruit, the sand fruit, to boost its potential. With a little polishing and some natural treasures that he can easily push Tyranitar's talent to champion level. a rare find. The devil fruits from the system are magically tweaked, too. They don't have the seawater weakness from the original One Piece world. Without delay, the system started figuring out Tyranitar's rewards. Congrats! Tyranitar got a critical hit on experience. Triple experience. Tyranitar leveled up. Current level, 30. Tyranitar is back. Jiang Li's Tyranitar benefited big time from this dimensional adventure. Not only did it eat the sand fruit and jump to king level, but its strength shot up 2 levels to 30, peak strength for a regular level elf. It's almost at the elite level. Species, Tyranitar, shiny, overlord, gender, female, strength, level 30, peak regular level, type, rock/dark, ability, sand stream, talent, king level, moves, earth style, earth wall, earth style, headhunter jutsu, earth style, super lightened boulder jutsu, earth style, river of earth, kekii genkai, explosion release, sand fruit ability. Tyranitar's breakthrough helped Jiangli out too. Since it ate the sand fruit, Jiangli felt his resistance to rock and ground. Type attacks increasing. He figures he can take a lot more now, since those elements affect both him and Tyranitar. Plus, the energy feedback boosted his physical fitness. With his current defenses, he could probably survive a collision with a novice-level elf. Now, back to Bagon. This is its first trip through dimensions. Jiangli didn't send Bagon to the One Piece world. Instead, he sent it to the world of Naruto. The One Piece world's too much for Bagon right now, since its strength is still pretty low. Bagon appears near Konoha in the Naruto world. A golden portal popped open in a random grove near Konoha in Naruto's world, and that's how Bagon arrived. Bagon took a big sniff of the air, noticing the energy was totally different here. Then, it caught a whiff of something sweet, and its nose led it forward. It soon found the source, a ton of unknown medicinal herbs. The smell was irresistible, and Bagon started munching. It was enjoying every bite. Since Bagon was so young, it wasn't about to turn down anything that could make it stronger. And this garden was huge, probably owned by one of Konoha's big families, so Bagon just stayed there, eating its fill. A whole day went by. Bagon was happily munching away when a chubby dude in rough clothes and a ninja headband showed up. He saw the scene and his jaw dropped. The medicine garden was almost cleaned out. Bagon had only been there a little while and already devoured nearly everything. Then the chubby guy spotted Bagon, grabbing the last few herbs and stuffing them in its mouth. He lost it and roared. "Hey! You little thief! Did you wreck my garden?" The chubby guy was the medicine gardener, part of the Akimichi clan. His job was to take care of the family's herbs. These herbs helped ninjas boost their chakra and physical fitness. They were super valuable, but the little guy was greedy. He'd snuck into the village the day before for a massive feast and crashed at a restaurant. He figured one day wouldn't hurt. But some random ninja beast had come along and trashed the garden. These herbs were worth a fortune. He couldn't afford to replace them, not even if he was the grandson of an elder. The fat ninja was furious. He charged. Using the Akimichi clan's secret technique, he'd catch the beast, rough it up, and find out which family it belonged to. He didn't even consider it might be from outside the village. Ever since that fire-breathing dragon showed up in Konoha, the village had reinforced its barriers. No one, or no ninja beast, could get in or out without tripping them. The Akimichi ninja, powered up by his clan's secret skill, raised his fist, the size of a sandbag, and took a swing at Bagon. Chapter 80: The Training Methods of the Akida Clan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This chubby kid from the Akimichi clan wasn't kidding about having fists the size of sandbags. He used the Akimichi clan's expansion jutsu, instantly making his fist several times bigger. The baby dragon braced itself for the impact, meeting the kid head-on. The kid's punch landed, but it didn't do anything. The damage just missed. That's because the baby dragon's head is the hardest part of its body. It's practically a living rock. Instead of hurting the baby dragon, the kid got knocked backward. He landed hard in the nearby garden, the soil softening the blow, but when he saw what he'd done to the plants he was supposed to be protecting, he burst into tears. His crying attracted the attention of a grown-up from his clan. A ninja in red armor jumped over. Seeing the baby dragon and the ruined garden, he immediately understood. He glared at the chubby kid, then dashed behind the baby dragon, channeling his chakra. he used partial expansion jutsu, his arm ballooned, and he swung a massive fist at the baby dragon. This was the real deal, not the amateur stuff the kid tried. If that punch connected, the baby dragon would be seriously hurt. Ding dong. Life-threatening situation detected. Initiating emergency system transfer. Just as the punch was about to land, a golden light enveloped the baby dragon. In a flash, it vanished. The ninja couldn't stop his attack. The giant fist slammed into the ground. Boom. Starred out a huge crater appeared in the garden, sending dirt and the scent of earth flying everywhere. The ninja looked grim. He'd seen a Charizard disappear like that before. He immediately connected the baby dragon to the fire-breathing dragon from before. Serious-faced, he rushed towards the village to report to the Hokage. The Akimichi kid stopped crying, thinking he was off the hook. He had no idea he was still going to get grounded when he got home. Meanwhile, the system had teleported the baby dragon to a safe space. Congratulations! Baby Dragon has acquired the Akimichi clan's partial expansion jutsu, that the baby dragon could now use the same jutsu as the chubby kid and the ninja, but better. No matter how big a human arm gets, it's still human, but the baby dragon was already stronger, and if it evolved into a Hydreigon, it could make its wings huge and slice through anything, so, the expansion jutsu was actually pretty useful. Congratulations! Baby Dragon has acquired the Akimichi clan's training method. Jiangli was confused. He asked the system to explain. Turns out, this training method was a prerequisite for the Akimichi clan's ultimate technique, butterfly mode. In the Naruto world, the Akimichi clan members are known for their huge appetites. They eat a ton of food and store it as fat. That fat is energy they're saving up. It's all to prepare for butterfly mode. Jiangli thought this move would be perfect for the baby dragon. Its second evolution is Pupitre, and Pupitre is like a cocoon, waiting to hatch into Hydreigon. When Pupitre is ready to evolve, it breaks out of its shell. It's just like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. The Akimichi clan's butterfly mode was perfect for the baby dragon. This time, the system gave him the Akimichi clan's eating training method. Elves have their own limits when it comes to eating, but if Jiangli's baby dragon practiced this technique, wouldn't it be able to eat a ton of food, store up energy, and build a strong foundation? It could even eat a bunch of metal when it evolved into Pupitre. The Akimichi clan's technique involves mastering digestion. As a rock-type Pokémon, Pupitre could reuse those metals, making its body even harder. But that was something for the future. Jiangli could try it out when he decided to evolve his baby dragon. Congratulations! The elf baby dragon has received a critical hit in experience and has tripled the experience. The elf baby dragon has been upgraded. Its current level is 15. The elf baby dragon has returned. This adventure gave Jiangli's baby dragon a boost of 4 levels, reaching the mid-level of a novice level. The system finished, and the baby dragon appeared in front of Jiangli. It ran over and hugged Jiangli. Baby, it kept shouting, telling Jiangli about its adventure. Jiangli petted its head and used his appraisal skill. Species, baby dragon. Gender, male. Strength, 15, novice level intermediate. Attribute, dragon. Characteristic, force, hidden talent. Talent, king level. Skills, tackle, bite, ember, dragon breath. Akimichi clan secret technique. Partial expansion jutsu, Akimichi clan training secret technique, dragon rush, reversal scale, dragon star group.